Hello and welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour, coming to you from our studios here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Dorcas Chia. Our top stories: President Bola Ahmed Tinubu orders a comprehensive probe into alleged fake federal agency. A Senate queries a Northwest Development Commission over 943 million naira board allowances. Federal government begins 100 housing units in every LGA for vulnerable Nigerians. On the foreign scene, Ramaphosa's Ghana's visit postponed amid anti-migrant tensions. And now the news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the alleged Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, describing it as a fictitious agency with no legal backing. The president directed the anti-graft agency to conclude its investigation within 30 days and submit a detailed report. According to the presidency, the probe will focus on alleged forged appointment letters, impersonation of government officials, fraudulent use of presidential documents, the opening of bank accounts in the names of fake government agencies, and the involvement of any public or private individuals in the scheme. Meanwhile, the president's chief of staff, Kano Phase, has demanded 10 billion naira in damages from the alleged ICPC Director General Prince Adeyemi Matthew over what he described as defamatory allegations linking him to the agency. Through his lawyers, Gbajabiamila also demanded a public apology and retraction within 72 hours or face legal action. The Senate distanced itself from the controversy, saying the matter falls within the executive's jurisdiction, while the Nigerian police denied reports that Matthew's father had been arrested, insisting he is not in police custody. The main suspect is already facing charges before a federal high court in Abuja over alleged forgery, impersonation, and related offenses. The Presidential Working Group on the National Policing Bill has begun work on developing the legal framework for the implementation of state police across Nigeria, following its inauguration by President Bola Tinubu. Represented by his Chief of Staff, Kano Phase, the President said state police can no longer be delayed, stressing that the committee would prepare an implementation-ready national policing bill while the constitutional amendment process is being finalized. The proposed legislation will outline minimum policing standards, accountability measures, human rights safeguards, federal-state coordination, and funding arrangements. Governors, the Nigerian Bar Association, and other stakeholders pledged support for the initiative, describing it as a necessary response to Nigeria's security challenges and a step towards community-based policing. They, however, emphasized the need for strong legal safeguards to prevent abuse of the new policing structure. Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barau and Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu also assured Nigerians that the proposed law contains strict oversight mechanisms to guard against political interference, ethnic bias, and human rights violation, while strengthening security nationwide. And now, the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called for increased investment in Nigeria's tourism sector, describing it as a key driver of job creation and economic growth. Speaking while hosting Qatar's ambassador to Nigeria, Yosef bin Muhammad Al-Hali, at the State House in Abuja, Mrs. Tinubu said Nigeria's rich cultural heritage, cuisine, and hospitality remain largely untapped despite their enormous economic potential. She also expressed confidence in President Bola Tinubu's efforts to address the country's security and development challenges. The First Lady commended Qatar's support for Nigeria, particularly in the education sector, and welcomed continued collaboration to tackle the challenge of out-of-school children. In his remarks, Ambassador Al-Haleh said his perception of Nigeria has changed since arriving in the country, noting that the negative image portrayed on social media does not reflect reality. He described Nigeria as a beautiful country with welcoming people and pledged to strengthen bilateral relations between Nigeria and Qatar. The Senate Committee on Regional Development has questioned the Northwest Development Commission over the payment of 943 million naira in board allowances and the continued delay in appointing executive directors. Lawmakers expressed concern that the commission remains without a full management structure despite being one of the first regional commissions established. The committee also scrutinized the commission's financial management and governance, noting that 79% of its 1.19 billion naira expenditure went to board allowances, while the commission's board defended the spending as lawful under its Enabling Act. Senators insisted the prolonged leadership gaps and operational delays were hindering development efforts in the Northwest. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is set to arraign former managing directors of the Warri and Port Harcourt refineries, Jimo Yisawo and Ahmed Diko, over a separate alleged money laundering cases involving about $989,630 billion and 1.42 billion naira. Yisawu faces 8 counts, including the alleged conversion of $912,550 and unlawful cash transactions outside the banking system, while Diko is facing 12 charges over alleged cash payments, concealment of funds, and diversion of proceeds linked to refinery contract. Both cases will be heard before Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court, Abuja. We'll now take a pause here, and up next are news stories from the build sector. Do stay with us.
Power is built on decisions. Decisions that shape nations, define leadership, and determine the future of millions.
That statement that the first PRO for IGB, do you know that if it's other country, they will ask him to resign or step down?
I disagree. You said she did not. I disagree with that. Welcome to House of Politics, where issues that matter take the center stage. From political debates to governance to elections to policies that affect you and I. On this platform, we dissect, we analyze objectively.
You have never seen people talking about the achievement of the spirit. A mistake that happens once, twice, 3 times. It's not a mistake. Who is making a mistake? Who is making a mistake?
House of Politics, where decisions meet development. On Housing TV, Africa.
You're watching Housing TV News at the hour. Now to the build sector. The federal government has commenced the construction of 100 renewed Hope housing units in each of Nigeria's 774 local government areas to provide shelter for vulnerable groups, including victims of insecurity. Presidential media AD Abdulaziz disclosed this during an inspection of the renewed Hope City project in Janguza, Kano State, describing the initiative as part of the Tinubu's administration's effort to address the country's housing deficit and improve access to affordable homes. He said the Tinubu Estate project is already underway nationwide, while Phase 1 of the Kano Renewed Hope City, comprising 325 housing units, have been completed. Phase 2, within 698 units, is about 75% complete and is expected to be delivered in August. The housing estate will also feature supporting infrastructure, including roads, a school, a clinic, and recreational facilities to ensure a livable community. A real estate expert and managing director of Frontier Commercial Services Limited, Olalekan Abidedin, Oseni has urged the federal government to introduce policies that will make property documentation easier and improve access to finance to accelerate housing development in Nigeria. Speaking ahead of the Mainland Housing Summit 2026 in Lagos, Oseni said cumbersome approval processes and limited financing continue to discourage real estate investment. He noted that rising property prices on Lagos Island are pushing investors towards emerging mainland corridors, while infrastructure development and lower entry costs present new opportunities. Meanwhile, the Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria called for large-scale innovation housing solutions to tackle the country's growing housing deficit. The association advocated industrialized construction methods such as prefabricated and modular housing, alongside the establishment of a national housing delivery framework and a housing infrastructure fund to support affordable housing delivery, particularly for low-income earners. Moving on to the foreign scene, Iran's Revolutionary Guards say they launched missile and drone attacks on United States military bases in Bahrain and Kuwait in retaliation for recent American strikes in Iran. The attacks targeted the U.S. 5th Naval District in Bahrain and Ali Al-Salem Air Base in Kuwait, with Iran also claiming it shot down a U.S. MQ-9 drone. Air defense systems were activated in both countries as authorities responded to the assault. The escalation followed fresh U.S. strikes on Iran after attacks on commercial tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. The renewed hostilities have raised concerns over regional security and global oil supplies, pushing Brent crude prices above $70 per barrel. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts remain uncertain, with Iran insisting negotiations cannot resume while military threats continue. Ghana has postponed South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's planned visit following rising diplomatic tensions sparked by anti-immigrant protests in South Africa and the repatriation of hundreds of Ghanaian nationals. Ghana said the visit was deferred to avoid escalating tensions over a recent xenophobic incident, while South Africa maintained that relations between both countries remain cordial and that a new date would be agreed upon. The diplomatic strain follows reports of anti-foreigner protests and the circulation of a viral video showing a Ghanaian being confronted in South Africa. Ghana has since repatriated hundreds of its citizens, while other African countries, including Nigeria, Kenya, and Malawi, have also evacuated nationals. The development has renewed concerns over recurring xenophobic attacks in South Africa, with Ghana urging stronger action to protect foreign nationals and uphold African unity. We'll take another pause, after which we bring you updates from the business sector and sports scene.
I'm Debbie Erb. I'm the founder of DLE Advisors, LLC. I just finished a really interesting session talking with the audience here at the International Housing Show. I have attended the show before, and I have to say it's bigger. It's bigger and better than it was 4 years ago. An incredible array of opportunities, companies, and new innovations in the housing space. So it's very exciting to be here. Thank you, Festus Adebayo. He's my guy. It's so well attended, and there's so many people here that I know who are movers and shakers in the industry. So I definitely recommend attending if you possibly can.
I am Ada Fong, the former Deputy Director of Housing from the Hong Kong Housing Authority. I think it's a very interesting housing show and conference that brings together a lot of experts and talents and government officials in Africa to explore the subject of housing in Africa. It's a very worthwhile initiative that you do it once every year.
My name is Adeola Olushodo. I'm the Executive Director, Lagos State Development and Property Corporation. I'm here at the Abuja International Housing Show 2025, and this is a show that brings all the experts and all the major players in the real estate sector together. I must commend the efforts that goes into that, the consistency, and everybody looks forward to it. And of course, it's well attended.
My name is Dr. Mark Mahaku Joshua. I am the Director General Taraba Geography Information Service. I got an invitation to attend, and I saw things like land reform. So my priority here is to interact with experts in the field, gain more knowledge on how things are done as far as land reform is concerned. The organizers of this event has done well. I at least expect the caliber of people I've seen here. Seeing the people that I've seen here, they have sent out a signal to me that it is not a child's play. We're here that really Nigerian mean business to organize such a show.
My name is Surveyor Abdulganiu Ademadibumehin, the Surveyor General of the Federation. I want to really say it's a good program. This is the 19th edition of it. I want to say a good thumb up to the organizers of the program and to Nigeria in general. Hosting such an event is not something that comes easy. It comes with a lot of innovation on its own, like the team says, and it comes with a lot of experienced organizers. So I want to say a big thank you for those people that come all the way from far and near to come and be part of this organization.
Hello, I'm Maya Abdelhamid, the CEO of the Social Housing and Mortgage Finance Fund in Egypt. This is my first visit to Nigeria and Abuja in specific. I've been invited to this housing show. This is my first visit to Nigeria. I've had a good chance to meet with all the Nigerian officials as well as the African ministers and delegations. I think the presentation helped a lot and giving insights to those attending. I also benefited from hearing other experiences from the experts from across the continent and the international experts as well.
My name is Roland Benoba, and this is the Roland Benoba Real Foundation for Housing and Urban Development. Shout out to IHS. You guys are doing a great job. This is the 19th edition, and I think it's just going to keep getting better and better and better. Kudos to the team at AIHS.
Welcome back. Over to the business segment. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it saved $3.4 billion through contract restructuring and optimization between April 2025 and July 2026, while remitting 19.5 trillion naira to the Federation account. Speaking at the 25th Nigerian Oil and Gas Energy Week in Abuja, NNPC Group CEO Obayo Ojulari said the company also achieved 100% compliance with its joint venture cash call obligations, increased crude oil production to 1.71 million barrels per day, and raised gas production to 7.5 billion standard cubic feet per day. Meanwhile, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Henkin Lokoburi announced that the federal government has engaged PricewaterhouseCoopers to review and benchmark the over 270 taxes, fees, and levies imposed on oil and gas operators to improve Nigeria's competitiveness. Also at the event, Renaissance Africa Energy announced a new oil discovery at the OML 74, while industry stakeholders called for harmonization of taxes and sustained reforms to attract more investment into Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Delta Airlines have expanded its premium travel services with the opening of the first phase of its second Delta One lounge at Los Angeles International Airport, located in Terminal 2. The 4,000 square foot lounge accommodates 75 guests and offers fine dining, personalized services, and a quieter luxury travel experience. Delta said the second phase of the project will be completed in 2028, while an 11,000 square foot Delta Sky Club is expected to open by 2027. According to the airline, the expansion will increase its global lounge network to 60 lounges, making it the largest lounge portfolio operated by a US-based airline. Delta said eligible Delta One passengers can also enjoy exclusive ground services, including private check-in, security screening, and golf chat transfers between terminals as part of its efforts to enhance the premium travel experience. Over now to our sports desk for sports updates with Kelechi Anori.
All right, thank you, Dorcas. Welcome to Sports Update. The 2026 World Cup quarterfinals are underway, highlighted by Argentina's dramatic comeback win against Egypt. In other news, Novak Djokovic and Coco Gauff have reached the Wimbledon semi-finals, while Denzel Dumfries has completed a £17.3 million transfer to Real Madrid. I am Kelechi Anori. This is Sports Update on Housing TV Africa. Now over to the World Cup 2026 FIFA. Egypt head coach Hossam Hassan has accused match officials of favoring reigning champions Argentina following his side's dramatic 3-2 defeat in the World Cup round of 16. Hassan described the officiating as unfair after Egypt saw 2 penalty appeals turned down before Enzo Fernandez headed home a late winner to send Argentina into the quarterfinals. The Egyptian coach suggested the tournament appeared to be directed towards the defending champions, expressing frustration over decisions he believes played a decisive role in his side's elimination. Argentina scored 3 goals in just 13 minutes to steer them clear of a shock exit as reigning champions, which sets up a quarterfinal with Switzerland at 2 a.m. UK time on Sunday. However, the dramatic late winner was clouded by controversy after Hassan claimed his side were denied a penalty moments before Julian Alvarez kick-started the counter-attack, which led to Enzo Fernandez's 92nd minute header. Alvarez tackled Mohamed Salah inside the penalty area and caught the forward on his foot before taking the ball. VAR did not appear to check the incident. Alexis McAllister also pulled Hamdi Fathi down inside the area moments before, but play was waved on. Those incidents occurred after Egypt had already had a goal ruled out for Zico earlier in the game with the score at 1-0, following a VAR check which deemed Lisandro Martinez had been fouled in the build-up. Switzerland booked their place in the FIFA World Cup quarterfinals after defeating Colombia 4-3 on penalties following a goalless draw in Vancouver, with Ruben Vargas converting the decisive sport kick. The match produced few clear-cut chances, although Colombia came closest in extra time when John Lukumi headed against the crossbar before Jamilton Campas squandered a golden opportunity to break the deadlock. The shootout triumph marks Switzerland's first ever World Cup victory in penalties and secures their first appearance in quarterfinals since hosting the tournament in 1954. The Swedes will now face defending champions Argentina for a place in the semi-finals. Now the quarterfinals fixtures for you. On Thursday, July 9th, France will log it out against Morocco. And then on Friday, July 10th, Spain versus Belgium. On Saturday, July 11th, Norway will log it out against the Three Lions of England. And for the final fixture of the quarterfinals on Sunday, July 12th, Argentina will log it out against Switzerland over there in Kansas City, USA. Now to the transfers. Alvaro Arbeloa has been appointed the new head coach of Fulham FC, signing a 3-year deal to succeed Marco Silva. The 43-year-old takes charge of Craven Cottage after Silva departed to become manager of SL Benfica following the expiration of his contract with Fulham. Arbeloa, a former Real Madrid CF manager, left the Spanish Giants in May and had been out of work since being replaced by Jose Mourinho. As a player, the Spaniard also enjoyed spells in the Premier League with Liverpool FC and West Ham United FC. His first test will be against Chelsea at home on Monday in the EPL, August 24th. Ange Postecoglou has been appointed head coach of Al Nassr FC, signing a 2-year deal that will see him manage Portuguese superstar Cristiano Ronaldo. The Australian returns to management for the first time since his brief 39-day spell at Nottingham Forest FC ended in October. He replaces George Jesus, who guided Al Nassr to the Saudi Pro League title last season, but departed after the expiration of his 1-year contract. Current Portugal coach Roberto Martinez had also been linked with the role, but Al Nassr ultimately turned to Postecoglou as they prepare for the new campaign under new leadership. Ilan Meslier is set to join us now on a free transfer after leaving Leeds United at the end of his contract. The French goalkeeper spent 7 seasons at Elland Road and played a key role in Leeds' promotion to the Premier League during the 2024-2025 campaign. Although he did not feature for the club last season, Meslier is expected to arrive as Arsenal's third-choice goalkeeper, a move that could allow young star Tommy Setford to leave on loan. Meanwhile, Kepa Arrizabalaga is set to remain as deputy to first-choice keeper David Raya, despite uncertainty surrounding his long-term future at the club. Now, here are Tuesday's transfer wrap-up for you on Sports Update. Ex-Leeds goalkeeper Ellen Meslier is set to join Arsenal with a free transfer. Shensu has landed in North East ahead of his £23 million move to Newcastle from Ajax. Everton have an interest in Tottenham defender Jed Spence. John Stones is one of the central defenders Juventus are considering this summer, coming in from Sky Sports in Italy. Brentford have completed the £70 million signing of Jadon Anthony from Burnley. Brighton are in advanced talks with RB Leipzig over the sale of Brighton Gruda. Celtic boss Martin O'Neill has said forward Camilo Duran is about to become the Hoops' first new signing of the summer. Burnley are in advanced talks over the vacant head coach position with Genk coach Nicky Hayen. Alfie Darwin has joined Preston from Tottenham in a club record deal for the championship side worth up to £6 million. Now over to tennis. Novak Djokovic bowed through the longest quarterfinal in Wimbledon history, defeating Felix Olga Aliassime in a marathon 5-set thriller that was decided by a dramatic final set tiebreak. The Serbians had fourth victory, set up a blockbuster semi-final clash with reigning Wimbledon champion Jannik Sinner, who booked his place in the last four by overcoming Jan-Lennard Struff. In the women's draw, Karolina Mukova knocked out Naomi Osaka, while Coco Gauff reached the Wimbledon semi-finals for the first time in her career. And now that's the side of the package we have for you on Sports Update. It is Sports Update on Housing TV Africa. I am Kelechi Anorwe. Over to you, Dorcas. Thanks for watching.
And that is all we can take on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. But before we go, a recap of stories that made the headlines. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu orders comprehensive probe into alleged fake federal agency. A Senate queries North-West Development Commission over 943 million naira board allowances. Federal government begins 100 housing units in every local government area for vulnerable Nigerians. On the foreign scene, we told you that Ramaphosa's Kano visit was postponed amid anti-migrant tensions. For more news in the housing sector, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Housing TV Africa. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and you can download the Housing TV mobile app and free TV app on your Google Play Store and Apple Store to stay connected. Many thanks for watching. I remain Dorcas Chia. Bye for now.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing TV Africa, on Twitter, Housing TV Africa, Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.